test. Hey there guys, Francis and Dedek. So I feel extremely thankful for several more people subscribing to my channel, and yes, it does add some fuel, and it does add some fuel to to generating more of my motivations to make more YouTube videos, to keep it going, to just maintain the motivation to keep going. And I don't think it is such a bad thing at all to have someone backing you, to have someone backing you up. And since I have to admit I am running short of friends and allies. Well, for no particular reason. Perhaps one of the reasons I can think of is that most people, the majority of the majority of people I encountered, they don't find any merits or benefits staying with or close to me. So, and I think such universal constant also applies to some other of you guys here, who are watching my channel. And yes, I can definitely relate to such feeling, and sometimes it's not a disgrace to feel defeated, to feel deserted by others, because it just happens. It just happens so often that most people tend to lose track of how many have turned their backs upon their friends. And so it's something we have to expect and accept from our lives. And I suppose that adds another reason to, that adds another more reason to why you should put your faith in Jesus rather than somebody else. And yes, that's also why the book 10x Rules, written by Uncle Grant Cardone, becomes so handy. So I'd recommend you guys to do something in case things go south, especially in terms of friendship, especially in terms of in terms of mental health. Perhaps you do feel defeated thanks to some losses of friends, of money, of courage. So what? You still have four limbs. You still have a pair of hands and a pair of feet and legs. You can still choose to go anywhere you want. Of course, within the city you are currently residing in. But once you can gather a sufficient amount of funds, then you can basically go anywhere you wish, plus a visa, probably, if you happen to be a Chinese national who pretty much needs to apply for a visa if he wishes to go anywhere at all. But that I'll leave such topic to talk about more in details onto my next videos. So yes, probably you after so many trials and sorrows, you will start to think, you will start to have doubts on your purpose, your meaning, the meaning of life. And yes, I have been having those doubts and skeptics for quite some time as well. So it is not uncommon, and it happens quite often. So you don't have to be, you don't have to feel particularly disgraced or ashamed about that. I know there are still plenty of people who are unwilling to talk about their mental health and their mental statuses or statuses, because it can make somehow the society, the world, how should I put it? Somehow the world has managed to convince the majority of the people that talking about your own situation, especially your mental condition, brings you more shame and joy. Yet I'd still like to bring it up, because honestly speaking, I have very few people whom I can talk to about such issue. Probably, well, it really depends on how you choose, to perceive such so-called issue. In fact, it can't, it doesn't pose any issues at all if it doesn't impair or impede your functionalities, to perform daily chores, to continue with your daily routines. Well, but yeah, intrusive thoughts. Yes, I have spoken about such issue before my videos. Before this particular video. Yet I still like to to share some of my other experiences with dealing with intrusive thoughts, and how what exactly I have been doing to suppress it, to mitigate it. So perhaps one of those concrete methods you can use is to try your utmost best to find anyone you can talk to. If you don't have anyone to talk to, then I highly suggest that you read the Bible and make a YouTube video and try your utmost best to interpret the verses of the Bible. And if should you have any difficulties interpreting it, you can search the web and try to internalize those ready-made theories and interpretations done by others that can probably distract you a bit and somehow manage to suppress the intrusive thoughts of murder or committing suicide and whatnot. And perhaps another thing I'd suggest I'd recommend you to do is to begin a prayer. Well, I suppose it doesn't matter whether you choose to pray in front of your computer webcam and then record it as a YouTube video, or if you just go back to your room and kneel down on your bed and speak to or pray to God directly in person and privately. I think that that doesn't quite matter which way you choose, as long as you can, um, as long as you can find yourself a way to, you know, to, to achieve a catharsis, a release of the stress and strain. So even if you speak in front of your computer webcam, it it pretty much creates a simulated environment where you can let's say pretend as if you are speaking to someone. Though I have to admit, it takes probably a completely different part of your brain cortex to speak to a real human being than just speaking in front of your computer's webcam. Well, the way I assume, as a matter of fact, it still gives you an opportunity to, to make you feel slightly better. Yes. So in intrusive thoughts, I don't actually quite recommend that you just approach a random friend of yours, because it usually ends up bringing you more frustrations than joy or relief or joy. Yes. YouTube videos, yes, I can promise you that I will continue to make more YouTube videos that can probably bring you a bit of a single strand of light to everyone on the planet. I do not, and I will never render my videos selective to my audiences from all over the world, because I always mean to to do something productive on YouTube. Well, maybe productivity means something entirely different to you, but I don't mind, and I certainly don't think it will hurt talking about your own feelings, talking about your current problems, and consider why you have a mouth and a pair of ears. It means God wants us to hear and to speak. We just have to make the best, to make the, we just have to use what God has granted us, has given us, to their fullest extent, to their fullest potential. And so long as I spotted an opportunity to make my life more productive, I will almost always grab it, never squander it. And yes, cold calling. Yes, perhaps I better start making more cold calls, not just more, but some more specifically targeted cold calls. Perhaps it's for the best that I write down what I have to say in prior to making the calls. Well, maybe it will somewhat and somehow facilitate the entire process. Maybe it will not. But it is always worth a try. It is always worth trying to make attempts. It is always worth trying to make attempts to improve your quality of life. No matter what you do, no matter where you are, your mindset matters the most, and the resources you have on hand, and the attitude you have, because your mindset determines your attitude towards whatever will happen to you during your lifetime. And yes, thanks again for watching, listening. Then, for to whoever subscribe to my channel, thank you so much for your support. Your support really means a difference to me, because from the increase in numbers of my supporters on YouTube, I can see hope. I can see that I am making a difference, and I can see that, to say the least, what I have, I have received some responses for my voice, for things I mentioned on YouTube, for whatever good or bad I have done on YouTube. So regardless, let's hope and pray that I can create better contents on my next YouTube videos and earn a bit of a more approval from my fellow audiences and subscribers. So thanks again for watching, listening. You have a great night or a great day. Cheers.